All right, welcome to the Hands of God. All right, welcome to Baños and good morning. I arrived yesterday in the evening after taking a 10-hour bus from the town of Cuenca. Today is going to be my official day of exploration, climbing up mountains here and everything else. The town itself is considered super touristy. It's pretty much a pueblito, or a pueblo mágico, you could say something like this, because most people that come here, they do fun little hikes, nature things, biking, climbing up mountains, and everyone that I've spoken to thus far has recommended Baños. All Ecuadorians have recommended Baños, all foreigners have recommended Baños, so this apparently is a place to be. All right, so right now we're going to go canyoning. Canyoning involves rappelling down the cliffs and waterfalls, so this should be fun. And I got to sit in the back of the truck. Then, by random chance, we got stuck in a parade in the town of Ulba. Apparently, we arrived in a Amazon festival, and we're currently stuck in traffic before we get to the canyoneering. Oye, Jairo.
Hola, amigo. ¿Dónde estamos? Baños de Ecuador. Baños de Ecuador.
¿Qué pasó?
Ahora estamos en un festival, un desfile del Cantón Ulvas. Estamos infiltrados aquí en un desfile. Vamos al canyoning, pero nos metimos al festival un momentito.
Because it was so random and spontaneous, this became an absolute highlight of my Baños adventure. Gracias. Muchas gracias.
Hasta el próximo año.
To be honest, I had no idea what canyoneering was when I signed up, nor the entire time until we got to our destination. I thought we were simply hiking through some canyons, but it turned out to be even more refreshing and cool than just a simple hike.
2, 3, Baños!
My only tip for canyoneering to you, just like in almost every sport, bend your legs. This way you'll have a better balance when going down the raging waterfalls.
Baños de Ecuador. Canadá, chicos, de Canadá. Todo para Canadá, chicos.
The journey back to town was an adrenaline, dopamine, and serotonin-filled ride of happiness, bliss, and giant pupils. Sitting unsecured in the back of the truck with the wind in my face and a full 360-degree view of the surroundings was definitely another highlight of Baños.
This experience was probably the best one I had thus far in Ecuador. Now we're returning. Obviously, there's no safety standards here, so everything is fine. No seat belts, as you can see. And returning back to Baños.
This town is extremely touristy, unlike other Ecuadorian towns, which will have the occasional shop or maybe point of interest here and there. This place is extremely concentrated in tourist packages, shops that sell tourist packages. And then on top of that, you have hotels and hostels on all sides. So this location, Baños, is incredibly touristy. It's built for tourism and for taking a rest and ultimately doing some of the tour packages, which I said involve like a lot of nature stuff. One of my friends who was here several years ago, he recommended coming here to Baños for at least 5 days in order to get all of the excursions. Nonetheless, welcome to the main town square of Baños. And at the back is the main cathedral here in Baños. The Church of Nuestra Señora del Agua Santa was built in honor of the Virgin of the Holy Water. One thing I really like about this basilica is that there's these beautiful paintings that have a little mini description at the bottom of them on all sides of the church. So unlike other churches in Latin America, or at least here in Ecuador, which have a lot of dolls and sculptures of Jesus and the various priests, this place has various paintings with some historical context. Some paintings depict the Virgin of the Holy Water saving people from natural disasters, such as eruptions of the nearby Tungurahua volcano, while others portray her aiding individuals in accidents or illnesses. If you can read Spanish, then these paintings offer insights into the local culture, religious beliefs, and history of Baños and its surrounding regions. So, about 30 more minutes to go, and then we're going to go ahead and adventure up one of the many hills that are around here, the mountains that basically flank on all sides of the town. Moments later, my tour began by hopping on a Chiva bus towards La Ruta de las Cascadas, or the Route of the Waterfalls. This scenic route stretches along the Pastaza River and offers you the chance to see several amazing waterfalls and beautiful vistas of the surrounding mountains. You can also rent a bicycle to do this 17-kilometer route, which I didn't know about at the time.
All right, welcome to one of the other very touristy places here in Baños. There's a zip line. There's actually several zip lines. There's one where you can have 2 people, and there's one where you can have even 3 people. And there's this bridge here you can cross. Everything obviously has a price, so it's either $7 on this, $7 on that. Everything has like a little small quantity that you have to pay. The taxi that brought us here, or the Chiva, or like the tour bus that brought us here, basically told us that we have about 15 minutes. And then after you do your little excursion, they pick you up on the other side. And then I guess we continue. Along the way, we saw a bunch of waterfalls and some really beautiful views of the mountains.
The next stop was the Manto de la Novia, or the Mantle of the Bride waterfall. This was a 10-minute cable car ride over the Rio Pastaza, offering a hair-raising and fear-inducing view of the landscape. After what seemed like a forever journey of sights and sounds, we made it to the waterfall of Pailón.
Welcome to the Cascada in Pailón. The waterfall of Pailón, $2 to enter.
You pass through a short trail through lush greenery along the river until it drops off into a giant waterfall. Once at the waterfall, there are various viewpoints, some of which allow you to get very close to the waterfall, close enough to feel the spray of the water on your face. There are various bridges and platforms for viewing the waterfall from different angles. And as a fun fact, the 2 sides of the waterfall have 2 separate private owners. So if you want to go on the other side, you need to leave the current path and pay to enter the other entrance. After the waterfall, you feel sleepy on the Chiva bus ride back, but this was only half of the adventure for today. Almost the moment that I got back into Baños, I hopped on a Chiva that would take us into the steep mountains surrounding the town, all the way up to the Hands of God.
All right, welcome to the Hands of God. It's a $3 trip to get up here from the center of the city. And then once you get to the top, let me go ahead and show you the view below.
Once you get up here, you will be able to see all of Baños on the way down. The views from the top are absolutely breathtaking and is definitely something you absolutely need to do. Later that night, I would head into one of 3 public hot spring resorts in Baños. There is one hot spring right inside the town, while the other 2 are not as packed with people, but they require a taxi ride a bit further to the outskirts of Baños.
Good morning. We have just gone up to the Casa de los Árboles. My opinion thus far of the little town, it's almost like a Pueblo Mágico in Mexico. Except that in Mexico, it's more colonial, lots of colonial history. In this case, Baños is more of a Pueblo Mágico in the context of a very small touristy town. Lots of restaurants, lots of tour packages, lots of little bars and clubs. It's a wonderful little place. Apparently, Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays, it's completely overloaded with tourism, so I highly recommend coming here during the weekday.
because it won't be as many people. So if you get a chance, visit Baños. One final note now is that I've been traveling for approximately 25 days, and it's getting a little bit overwhelming. Packing my stuff, taking my stuff apart, finding a new place to stay, transportation, all that. Everything is very spontaneous. Nothing is planned. I go based on the weather, based on emotion, based on what people recommend. And ultimately, I think after this, I'll head over to Quito for about one day, and then the following day, we'll fly over to the Galapagos. So today concludes my adventure here in Baños. Wonderful little place. Everyone's gonna have a different experience for sure, because the experiences that my friend recommended to me have been completely different from my own experiences here. But ultimately, I'm sure you will find something that will energize you to recommend Baños for others in the future. After leaving Baños, it was time to amplify the adventure by a factor of 100. The next stop was the enchanting Galapagos Islands, a haven far, far away in the Pacific Ocean, teeming with volcanoes, sea lions, sharks, and much, much more. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Leonidas here, cheers, and salud.